Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Around the Emirates podcast with Sara Mousa, where I speak to guests from across the UAE about topics you want to hear about. Today I am joined by a very special guest, Ahmed. Hello, Ahmed.
Hi, Sarah. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. It's so good to have you on the show today.
Yeah, thank
So
you for having me.
of course, it's an absolute pleasure, especially to talk about all the amazing experiences that you're going to share on the show with me today. I'm so excited. So, for everyone listening in, Ahmed is a novelist, scriptwriter, and sometimes filmmaker. You want to explain that a little bit?
Well, my background is filmmaking. I studied film studies at the University of Ryerson in Toronto. I graduated in 2002, and then went on and got my MFA, the Masters in Fine Arts for script writing or creative writing for film and TV in 2004. So yes, I'm old.
I wasn't
and
gonna say it.
so yeah, and I went on. I published my first novel in 2005. It's called Life is a Reason. And in 2006, I published my second novel. It's called Brothers in Terror. And since then, I stopped publishing novels, although I've written three other novels, but I've never published them yet.
Oh, wow.
Uh, I moved, kind of moved to Los Angeles till 2008. I worked there as a script doctor at different studios, ABC, HBO, Warner Brothers, in different
Okay.
projects.
Wait, question. What is a script doctor?
So script doctoring is basically you fix the script. So
Okay, yeah.
it sounds exactly it is exactly how it sounds. So they give you a script and they ask you to doctor it, to fix it. So you
Okay.
fix it, and not fixing in terms, it's not editing, it's different. It's actually fixing the story, fixing the characters,
Ah,
fixing their voices, fixing any type of, let's say, conflict that might occur, making sure that some scenes or some aspects of the script hasn't been told before. You have the character sheet with you, so you know the character inside out, and you want to make sure that the character really sounds the way it is. Their lines, their if it's a comedy, the punchlines are workable for the
I see.
character as well. I worked on the last two episodes of Friends in 2004, and I got the chance to work on the scripts. It wasn't only me, it was a whole team.
Oh,
So I got
wow.
the chance to, I was an intern
Ah, I
at the
see.
time. So I was an intern. I had the chance to work with the team. So we read the script before shooting, and we were trying to make sure that the voices of the characters were stable, the jokes were told in the right way, the right rhythm for them. Of course, the actors, by then they've been 10 years playing these characters,
Yeah.
so
So
it's
they know what
it's
to do.
it's yeah, they know what to do, and they always have their own suggestions and advices
Right.
of
Yeah.
what to say, and they have, by then, they had the full right to change anything they want. So it wasn't
Very
it
interesting.
was easier for us. It was an easy job, to be very honest.
I can imagine. Wow, okay. And then filmmaking?
Filmmaking, I've done few shorts, for schooling and stuff, and projects
Okay.
like these, small projects. My biggest project I ever had so far was in 2015 here in Dubai, where I was able to write and direct a sitcom for Sama Dubai, in for 3 seasons.
Wow.
It's called الحرب العائلية الأولى, which means the family war.
Nice.
Comedy. So it was a fun experience for 3 years working with
Hmm.
them,
Oh,
building the
wow.
characters and everything, developing these characters as well, and ending it. It was fun to see it coming to life.
Wow. Okay, so I guess my first question is which of those do you prefer doing?
Well, I enjoy writing. I enjoy developing a script and developing a story. Filmmaking
Mm.
is fun, but it's time consuming. It's a lot of energy you got to put in, a lot of soul. While working on that project, I literally I didn't sleep for 6 months
Oh my
at
God,
the
what?
time. Yeah, because you're shooting, you're editing, you're rewriting. We there is a saying, and it's true, writing is always rewriting. So your
Yeah.
script keeps on, you keep on rewriting it even during shooting. So, and I
Wow.
was the writer and I was the director, so I had two jobs, and they were the
Mm.
two heavy jobs at
Hmm.
the project. So everything was, all the burden was on me.
Right, right. I
Okay,
understand.
so it was a fun experience, but I don't really want to do
I'm
that
like, no, I'm
again.
not doing that shit again. We're done.
No,
We
no,
live, we
no, no,
learn.
no, no. That's it. That was a good. I've done it once, and that's it.
That's all good. It's on my CV, it's on my portfolio. That's
Yeah.
it. That shit's done. Awesome. So one of my kind of the things that I wanted to talk to you about as well is like what are some of the key challenges that you faced and how did you overcome them, especially like working, in LA and everything. Like that must have been a really life-changing kind of experience for you.
Oh, of course. You really have to prove yourself. It's always it's a challenge. Every project is a challenge.
Mm,
You have so many people, looking over your shoulder,
right.
waiting for you to fail. And because in their contracts there is a sentence that is very scary, but they actually put it there to make you go the extra mile. They actually add in their contracts, remember, you're always replaceable.
Oh my God. It was like a threat.
Exactly. So they always, especially in the writing room,
Yeah.
uh, you're always replaceable. You can't come up with a line, you can't come up with a story, you cannot come up with that. Boom, you're out. There's no second chances. So I remember one of the projects I worked on was Prison Break season 4, and
Oh, cool.
well, it's not as
Or not
exciting as
cool.
it sounds.
Never mind.
it,
Maybe not cool.
it was a task force more than a team. It wasn't it
Gotcha.
wasn't working on the project. It was working on an incident. So one of the main characters, her name is Sarah, got killed
Yes.
off in season 3, and the reason why they killed her off is because the actress got pregnant, and
Right, right, yeah.
it was against her um, contract. So when she found a loophole and she sued the studio, and she won, and the judge or the court sentenced that the studio has to get her back on this project.
Even though she'd
So
already just been killed off.
yes,
Oh boy.
so they put us together. I was chosen with a few other writers. We were 7 writers. They put us in this house. They literally put us in this house, and they told us you have 3 months to come up with a solution of
Oh
how to bring her
my
back.
God.
So
Ow.
we were not allowed to leave that house.
Ya Allah.
They were basically, literally, there was a truck every morning coming in with food and supplies and everything, and we are sitting there watching every single episode of Prison Break, and watching every scene that she's in, and
Mm,
putting together a map of all her movements, all her lines. Where exactly can we find a way to bring her
yeah.
back? And
So
Alhamdulillah, we
that's,
were
I mean,
able to do
I
so.
watched the show, so I remember thinking like, oh my God, Sarah's dead. And obviously my name is Sarah, so it especially hurt me on a personal level. But then
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, she's back. It's like, what is this? So I totally remember that. That's insane how you have to literally bring a character back to life. I guess uh being stuck in a house for 3 months was the solution.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was very hectic. It was um, like we to the point that we were very worried that we won't be able to do it.
Mm.
And there was a moment when we said that, you know, we can't do that, we can't do this. And
Wow.
because we couldn't you know, you couldn't sleep, and this is your life now. This show
No, of course.
is your
It
life to bring
consumes
her back.
you. Of course.
Exactly.
Well,
And
yeah.
it was a good thing for your resume.
Yeah, I
uh,
mean, that's the best thing. That's the best test for you.
that's one of the things, you know, that, you know, you really want to do this, because, you know, if you do it and 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 it flies, then you can add it into your resume. You can get more jobs in the future, you know.
Yeah, no, of course. I mean, I think you've also answered kind of my next question. I was gonna say, what wild stories do you have? But I think you being locked in the house for 3 months to revive a dead character off a TV show is wild enough. But
Well, I have another story for you of
oh, please go ahead.
how did I get into this whole film thing.
Okay.
um it was all by accident.
Oh, was it now? Okay, tell me.
Well, like everybody else, you know, I graduated from high school here and applied to different universities around US and Canada. And of course, I didn't apply for film. I applied for engineering because that's what my parents want me to be.
Mm,
So I got accepted as an engineering student, electrical engineering in Ryerson University in Toronto. Well, I
got
came
it.
to first I came to Toronto and I did my TOEFL. I don't know if it still exists now or not. So I studied English as a second language, and I had to get this test. It's called TOEFL
Hmm.
to be able to get into universities as an international student. So for 6 months, I went to this English institution. I did the exam. Um, I passed, and then I started applying for universities while I was in Canada. And I got into Ryerson as an engineering student. So I went on orientation week. I went to meet my advisor, my professor advisor, and he was telling me about all the courses that I have to take and everything. And he got this phone call. This is where where everything turns around. He got this phone call, and he excused himself for around 40 minutes. And I was there in his office alone, sitting there, and I was looking through this bulletin book where all the majors that the university has. And I was just going through it just as a curiosity. And I kind of fell into film studies and I started reading about it. Just reading, nothing. I wasn't thinking of switching or anything like that. And when he came in, I just asked him as a sort of curiosity and joke. And I told him, what if I wanted to switch to film? Is that doable? And he said, yes, of course. You know, you got accepted as engineering, and there's no prerequisite for film, so I can do it right now. Do you want me to do that? And I was like, yeah. I don't know. I don't know if he was joking or not. You know, I was just said, okay, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he switched me right there and then. And he's like, all right, these are the, you have to go to your other advisor now in the other department of film. It's the other side of the university. And I was like, what? Oh, you did you really do it? He's like, yeah,
Oh
it's
my
done.
God.
You're a film student now. And
What?
I was like, okay, I don't know what to tell my parents now.
Oppa. Oh boy.
So I never told them that I switched to film.
Oh my God. You're trying to
It
die. You're trying to
Yeah,
die.
exactly. So in third year university, third year film school, it kind of slipped out of my mouth. So I got this internship in Vancouver. I lived in Toronto. I went to I got this internship in Vancouver to be in this show called Smallville.
Oh.
So I used to watch that show. That now you're talking about 2001, and
Yeah.
the show just came out, and it's about Superman before he was Superman. So it's Superman during his teen, during high school. So it was a new concept, and it was exciting. And I have 2 months because I needed internship hours, and
Mm.
I got this gig, and I was so excited, and I called my mother, and I told her that, I got this internship, and she's like, "Oh, mashallah, mabruk, that's great. What is it about?" I was
Oh
like, "Oh, it's
God.
in this." I was like, I forgot completely, So I was like, "Yeah, it's in this TV show. It's about Superman." And she's like, "Whoa, whoa, what TV
No,
show?
no.
Superman? What are you talking about?" And I know that I messed up, so
Oh
I realized.
my
So I
God.
tried to fix it, and I was like, "Oh, they need engineers sometimes. They need engineers to work," but she knew that it was something else, so I
You
confessed.
liar, liar, film on fire, honestly. Like,
Exactly.
wow, that is an
So I was
intense
like,
story.
"Yeah, mom, I'm actually studying film and
Sorry, not
everything."
sorry.
Oh yeah, it was a dark moment in the family, as she says it. She's like,
Oh my
"Phil, what
God.
am I gonna tell your uncles? What am I gonna tell everybody now? I'm gonna
What
tell
about our
them that
reputation?
exactly. "Oh, what are you gonna do when you come back here? You want to be a filmmaker? What the hell is wrong with you?"
Well, funnily enough, you actually raised a really interesting point. So obviously, like, in our culture, it's not very common to have, I mean, it's more common now, but in the last, 10, 15 years, it wasn't very common for people to go into kind of filmmaking, acting, media, entertainment. So having been in a situation where you were literally doing engineering before you became kind of filmmaker and writer, what would you say is a word of advice that you have for the listeners who want to take that step forward but are too scared?
Say that do it. When I learned about film, it wasn't what I expected.
Yeah.
It's not that, fantasy world. No, there's a lot of science in film. There's a lot of math in film. There's a lot of psychology in film. There's a lot of history in film. Film is an ocean. It's not only about grab. We never grabbed the camera until second year. First year we were learning. Like for example, if I come to you and I tell you, define me the word film, film. What does it
Mm,
stand for? It's actually an acronym. It's the fundamental illuminating motion. This is an
right.
acronym. It's not the role. It's not the film role. That's called negative. That's not
Interesting.
film. That's negative. So film is a way of life as well. It's entertainment. The entertainment business has been here since like the dawn of time.
Mm,
Like if you look at Arabs, the entertainment was actually reciting poetry. That's kind of a if you that's entertainment. That's
right.
reciting poetry, plays.
Yeah.
The Romans, they had theater and everything. So now this is the new age of entertainment, which is cinema. Cinema is basically a theater. So film studies teaches you so many aspects of telling a story. It's a storytelling world. It's brilliant. It's scary. It's fun. It's mesmerizing. I'm so glad that this whole thing happened because it gave me a new perspective, not only about myself, it's about life and how
Mm.
do I see things. So I'm very glad for that phone call that the professor got, that gave me the time to look through that bulletin, and for the joke that I said, and he took it seriously. So don't be afraid. Yes, it might be scary. I was very scared when I came back in 2008, because I didn't know what to do here, and I actually got a job in a nonprofit organization doing exactly the opposite of what I really wanted for some time. But then I chose to leave that job and to do this and to write, um, as a freelancer since 2010.
Wow, that's incredible. I mean, I I love the fact that you kind of fell into the industry by accident, but I love how much you've learned and how much you've grown just through the story that you've just told me. And knowing that it is possible to find a career in this industry, it is possible to make a profit out of it, it is possible to be happy in it. It may not be the conventional careers of like, you know, lawyer, doctor, etc., but it is still something that can bring you so much joy and happiness. And I mean, you have a family too. Like you're enjoying yourself, you're enjoying your career, you have like mashallah, you have a family, and you're still able to like be happy and do what you want and actually make a career out of your passion. So I think it's fantastic that you've been able to kind of get this far, and you've worked on some fantastic shows as well, which a lot of the listeners will very clearly relate to. But yeah, I mean, thank you so much for sharing your story with me today, and thank you for inspiring the listeners to really kind of reach for the stars and make that jump if they want to.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you so much for this. And I hope that everybody would go on and pursue their dreams and not to worry about today. You know, let it go. Let it move forward, and you will find yourself in places that you never imagined.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time, Ahmed. Thank you, everyone. Have a great
Thank
day.
you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.